Greetings once again, heroes. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with My Hero Academia. Previously, we found out the reasoning as to why Himiko Toga never chose a villain name, and the origin of villain names and hero names in general. Naturally, as if you know anything about American comic books, anonymity. Sorry, Finding Nemo joke. But essentially they do name drop that. American comic books. But we continued the battle of Uraraka versus Himiko Toga, with Uraraka doing her damnness to try to plead to Toga to stop her action. But Toga unleashed the Sad Man's Legion, overrunning the battlefield, overrunning the nearby town, and again showing that while Hawks, what he did to Twice was pretty effed up, he was right. He was very right. Twice was dangerous. The sheer idea that he could have unleashed something like this. But Uraraka continues to plead with Toga, asserting that she wants to understand Toga, and that she's jealous of the quote-unquote perfect smile that she had. If anything, I'd say it's more that it's Toga's genuine smile. She smiles with all of her heart, something that we know that Uraraka does, in fact, appreciate. We even have a moment where Uraraka's zero gravity undergoes an awakening, much like Tomura Shigaraki, where his decaying touch could extend to those touching what he's decaying. Uraraka's zero gravity could cause the things that what she causes to float to also float as well, causing the swarm of doubles to float as well, and also start to kind of dissipate in the area around them, leaving both Toga and Uraraka in midair, ready to finally, potentially, have a conversation. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out. Won't you? Love the colors. Also gotta love how Toru, the invisible girl, now appears regularly more visible, which is both a plus and a negative because I kind of loved having her be just invisible, but also her hair, jeez, like someone vomited up a rainbow. Regardless, cute. Alright, let's get into it. We have Uraraka thinking about how she unleashed her ultimate zero gravity, thinking, there's something weird about my zero gravity. I don't get it myself. My Hero Academia, number 394, Ochaco Uraraka versus Himiko Toga. The Toga clones say, what the? Whole chains of us are floating. Oh yeah? Well, what if I make a new double? So Toga makes another double, but that double also floats. As Toga thinks, same problem. It's just like me that other time. Like what happened when I almost was killed. We also have Kamui rooting himself to the ground as he grabs onto Tiger, calling out to Tiger. Tiger says, Kamui Woods. Kamui questions, are you the real you? Which, man, that shows how dangerous that is when you have to question it. Barrage of doubles who can also replicate other people? Jeez. Tiger says, with these wounds, a fake would have already melted away. But then he looks up to the floating clone saying, but man, I thought the girl's max capacity was 3 tons. These kids, I swear, they've come a hell of a long way since boot camp last year. We then cut to Uraraka, who is bleeding out profusely from that stab wound, and she thinks, my whole body's going cold. But what matters right now is that I want to reach out and touch that sorrow inside of you. As she fires one of her cables and manages to grapple around Himiko Toga's left wrist. I think the wind's picking up a little bit too. We see Toga's equipment on the floor. Toga struggles being bound by Uraraka, as Uraraka calls out, my family was poor, and my folks were always looking kind of gloomy. I set out to become a hero to make their lives easier and cheer them up. But as I grew up, I learned that the world's full of other people, not just my parents and our home. Toga continues to struggle against Uraraka's cable. But Uraraka continues saying, and then I fell in love with Izuku Midoriya. Now I'm trying to stop you. That's who I am. That's why I'm here right now. And as Uraraka and Toga finally end up meeting in midair, Toga tries to use her knife to slash at Uraraka desperately, but Uraraka continues saying, so tell me, what's on your mind? Your thoughts and feelings, all of it. And as Toga's mind races through everything that she's thinking, we see a visual representation of the innocent little girl Uraraka offering herself up to the vicious, bloodthirsty, ugly monster of Himiko Toga. And Toga, in the here and now, can't bring herself to fully stab Uraraka. Tears welling in her eyes, and she starts to speak. I fall in love really easily. With animals, with villains, with heroes, with boys, with girls. After all, they've all got such amazing blood pumping through them. Uraraka simply goes, Toga continues saying, they tell me to stop grinning, and I'd get so jealous. Uraraka says, Toga continues saying, Izuku reminds me of a boy I used to like. His name was Saito, but it's not like I could just ask him for his blood. Cause they need to call me a freak or something. And then have Toga picturing herself and Uraraka as little kids talking. Toga saying, cause they need to call me a freak or something. Then he think I was definitely not cute at all. Just like you and Izuku. They all scold me and lecture me on the right way to be. That's why I joined the League of Villains. Cause with them I could live and love how I needed to. And Toga goes to try to slash at Ochaco, but she doesn't, and Uraraka simply says, the signs were always there for me, but it took me so long to notice. And that's it. Toga's power starts to dissipate, the power she got from twice. Toga thinks, time's up. Jin's blood is used up. Jin is fading away. You see the clones start to dissipate. Jiro, who is holding herself in place by her remaining earphone jack, looks to the sky and calls out for Uraraka. And in the sky, Uraraka and Toga are holding each other. And Uraraka tells Toga, well, the thing is, I think there's something really amazing about someone who's all ragged but trying their darndest anyway. So maybe I'm no replacement for the League, but I want you to know how special I think your smile is. And as Toga thinks back to when she started this fight, questioning Ochaco and Uraraka, Ochaco and Izuku, saying, Izuku, Ochaco, I love you, but... And Toga asks her question anyway. With tears in her eyes, she gives her smile, saying, am I cute? And Uraraka says, cutest in the whole world. And Toga can only smile as all the clones dissipate. I guess that's the end. For me personally, this is how I figured things would come to an end. Because with a lot of the other characters, they were defeated in terms of a lot of their ideals. Dabi, what he was trying to do, Spinner, and his whole little uprising, everything really got away from them in a number of ways. But the thing is, we were always kind of setting this up, this ultimate confrontation, because Toga was always trying to relate to someone, especially Uraraka. Toga, who was desperate for validation and to be acknowledged, and Uraraka, who was all about acknowledging the feelings of other people. This has been something that has been obvious Horikoshi has been setting up since the introduction of Toga, essentially, and when Toga met Uraraka. But I feel like some people's mileage will vary with this in terms of how you feel about both Toga and Uraraka. Not separately, but jointly. I feel like, personally, the anime will help me to feel more for this moment. Because when I hear the music swell and the desperation of the voice actors, that emotional kind of hit me a little bit more. Because there have been multiple scenes that I read through in the manga and it's just I felt that a little bit. But I'm able to just kind of move on. Because the manga, when it's in the manga, it never feels like it has enough time to just sit with me. But with the anime, it always feels that way. And I feel like a lot of people who read the manga don't get the same vibe from it as others might. They'll see this and think that it is Uraraka absolving Toga of a lot of things she's done. But it's treating Toga as a human being. That's it. That's it. I feel like it depends on whether you feel like a criminal deserves to be treated as a human, despite everything that they've done. But ultimately, I feel like people are entitled to their difference of opinion. But I personally feel that with where this is going, Toga's going to jail. She's going to be locked up. Like, there's no two ways around that. With everything that has happened, unless Toga manages to escape, she's gonna get locked up. But this was Uraraka trying to at least show Toga that there was the potential for something better. That there was the potential for someone to actually care about her beyond just wanting her to fit into the societal norm. And potentially, I feel like Uraraka will take a lot of this to heart and try to make things better for those out there, maybe like Toga. Like, that's what I feel this is a setup for. Like, I feel like this right here will have more of a payoff in an epilogue, where we see that Uraraka is trying to take those who are seen as wrong in the size of society and try to help them not just fit in, but to understand themselves, know that they are valid, and just be treated as people. Toga was a monster created through nobody trying to understand her. And the ultimate sad part of it all is that maybe she could have been something better had someone simply done just that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this conclusion to the Ochaco versus Toga fight? Because Uraraka showed the world in this instant that yes, villains need to be stopped, but also there are those out there who are lashing out because they're sad. Take of that what you will. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.